Hi everybody, Miss Molly here for today's program, which is a tale of two canvases, not so spooky edition. And today we will be making something along the lines of this. Of course, yours is going to be a little bit fancier because you have the beautiful canvas to work with, and I just used a regular piece of paper. But if you really like what you're doing and you want to do more, you can do it on regular pieces of paper, just like this. All right, my friends, so that is what we're doing. If you got a kit from us, I'm going to go through it so you can see everything that's in it. And if not, fear not, you can still follow along right from home. So you have, of course, your instruction sheet and everything that comes in your kit, which, of course, is your canvases. You'll notice that your canvases still have plastic on them, so make sure you take the plastic off before you start to paint. Otherwise, your paint won't stick too good. So you have your two canvases. We have one container of blue paint or purple paint. One container of white paint. We have, let me see here, 2 pieces of yellow cardstock, 2 paintbrushes, and of course 2 haunted house cutouts. Now, of course, you don't have to use either of these cutouts. You can draw your own if you would like to do that. If you would like to go online and find an even spookier cutout, you can do that too. It's all up to you and what you think is going to look best for your picture. All right, so what you're going to need from home, in addition to these fun things that are included in our kit, you're going to need a paper plate or something to mix your paint on. You're going to have a cup of water so you can wash your brush. I would suggest some glue. Let's get this out of the way. All right, I'm going to have some glue. I would also say to put down some paper underneath your canvas so that way you don't get the paint anywhere else other than your painting. It is washable though, so if it gets on other things, it does come right off. I had some all over me earlier today, so that's not to worry about that. You're going to need some scissors, and you might need some crayons, markers, or perhaps some black paint for a little bit later on. All right, my friends, let's get going, shall we? So I'm going to set everything up for you, and then we'll get going. I'm going to tip the screen down so you can actually see what I'm doing while I'm doing it, and you can follow right along. All right, let's go. All right, my friends, here you can see I have everything all ready to go. I have my one piece of paper that I'm going to use for painting on, like it's my canvas, just like yours, and then I have another one underneath that I'm going to use to catch any extra paint just in case, because I'm not always the neatest painter, and that's okay. I have my paint. I dumped a little bit out on the tray. You'll see that I have some black, which was not included in your kit, and I'll show you why and how you can use it if you want to. You don't have to. You can stick with your blue and purple, blue or purple, and your white, and either one is fine. So once you have your paintbrush, we're going to start with a white circle somewhere on your paper. Now this is going to be your moon. So it's this part right over here. And I made my moon a little bit small, so when you do it, I would suggest making it a little bit bigger. And then your house is going to go somewhere around it. So it doesn't have to be in the center. It can be off to the side, it can be low, it can be high. It's kind of wherever you want your imagination to take it. I'm going to make my moon over here, I think. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger than I did the last time. So when you paint on your white with white paint, you don't see it too much showing up, and that's okay. You can see where it's wet, and that's where it matters. So I'm going to paint it bigger than I did the last time. And all of your rings are going to paint outward from there. So it'll get brighter and darker as we go. Get a little bit more. And that's what we start with. And you can take your time. It doesn't have to be perfect and smooth. It doesn't have to be perfectly round. It doesn't have to be a full moon. You can have it be half moon if you would like. You can have it be 3/4 moon. You can have it just be a little sliver. It's totally up to you. All right, so I've got my moon. Now, once you're happy with the size of your moon, we'll move on to our next color, which is going to be either blue or purple. So you're gonna take some of the blue or purple paint. I'm gonna say you're gonna take the blue paint because that's what I have. And you're gonna mix white into it. You're gonna mix a lot of white until it's a nice pale, pale blue color. And it's gonna start off really pale and you're gonna get darker and darker and darker as you go. And if you don't have enough white paint on your, let's see, come on paint, enough paint on your plate, just put some more on there. All right, more paint. And you mix it until you find the perfect blue for you. It'll be really, 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 really light. It might take a couple of trial and errors. All right, so I think we'll do one more. Let's see. To get something nice and light. All right, let's do a little bit more, huh? Okay. And this will be your lightest blue. And then it gets darker and darker and darker as you go. So we've got a nice light blue. And then you're going to paint around the edge of your white moon. So you follow all the way around it. And you kind of eyeball it and guess. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be straight around. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. You can see brush strokes. Just going to get a nice circle going all the way around. And you can feather the edges out, so you see when you scrape your paintbrush across, it kind of leaves some marks, and that's okay. It'll help you with blending with our darker colors. So look at that. And this is important, so as we get to the edge of our paper, we're going to see that you're not going to be able to have all of the colors all around each piece, and that's okay. All right, so I've got what I like for my light blue, and I'm going to do a darker blue now. So I'm going to take some blue, mix it in, get a brighter or a darker blue now for my next layer of moon. Ooh, that one looks nice. So I'm going to start there, and I'll go around again. You can see that the color is changing. You can paint over some of what you've already done a little bit, right? As we go around. It doesn't have to all be the same width when you're going around. It's all up to you. And how thick you would like each of the rings to be. You see that one reaches the edge of my paper. So that'll be the end of that color for me. All right, so when you're ready to do our next color, grab some more blue, mix it in, make it slightly darker, right? Okie dokie, there we go. And if you think maybe you got a little bit too much blue and you need to lighten it up, just throw some more white in there, right? All right, here we go. So I'm gonna move my underneath paper under my picture so that way I don't get any on my table. And you just do another layer like this. Totally okay if we overlap, right? And around we go. It's also okay if your moon is different from whoever you're painting with, and it's different than mine. Because that's what makes all of our art unique and fun, right? So that they all look different. All right, there's that layer of moon for me. And adding some more blue, mixing it in. So that one I might have gotten a little too much blue. So I'm gonna mix some more of my white in there. There we go. Yeah, perfect. And I'll do our next layer. Here we go. It's okay if they're a little bit wet as you go. And you just keep doing this until you get to the edge of your paper with all of your blues and you're satisfied. So I'm going to speed it up so that way you can see what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, my blues are getting as dark as they can get, which is why I have a little black. So if you take some of the black and you mix it in with the blue, it's going to make it a little bit darker. And you can do that if you want to, or you can layer a lot of different blues. That one's totally up to you to see what colors you like. And finish it off. You can even finish it off with completely black if you really wanted to. Which I think I might do. Just try it off a little bit, huh? All right, oop, and I see that I have some corners here that I didn't do, so we'll do those black as well. There we go, perfect. All right, so while that dries a little bit, we're gonna work on our house. So if you have your house cut out, what you can do is cut around the edge, around the outside, so right around the edges here. And with a grown-up's help, you can do one of two things. You can cut out each of these pieces here and put the cardstock behind it, so that way the yellow shows through with the cardstock and it's a little bit thicker. Or you can color it in, which is what I did here. I just used a yellow marker and I colored all those in. So I'm going to cut this out and the paper will be dry and we'll be able to attach it. Here we go. Now, as you can see, And our next part is, once your picture is dry, you're going to figure out which way you want your picture to go. So, do you want it to be facing you this way? Do you want it this way? This way? It's all up to you and which way you think would look best. And you can also check to see what way looks coolest with your haunted house. You want it in the corner? Do you want it a little bit higher up? Do you want it on the ground? Where do you think you'd like it? And that's the question, isn't it? Depends on which way you're going. Okay, I think I want to do my picture this way, right here. So I'm going to flip my picture over and put some glue on it. And then I'm going to glue it right down. All right, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, my friends, so here is my finished picture. There you are, you can see it, pretty awesome, right? So I would love to see what you guys came up with. So if you'd like to send me your pictures on Facebook or on Instagram, we would love to see them. And there's also some fun things that you can do that are written on the back of your instruction sheet or included down below in our description that kind of helps you talk about your extraordinary house that's maybe haunted or not. So think about what's happening in your picture. I'm going to show you mine while I ask you these questions. Who lives here? Are they a ghost or a monster or a human? And what do you think they do for fun? Why are all the lights on? Let's see, what else? What makes this house special? If it's spooky or not so spooky, what makes it that way? What would you say if you had to sell this house? How would you think about all the spooky things that are part of this house and make them sound really, really awesome and fun and make somebody want to live there? And what else? We're gonna say there's something called personification, which gives human traits and feelings to inanimate objects, so something like a house. And what do you think this house is feeling? What do you think it's thinking and doing? I'd love to hear your stories if you came up with any of them. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me for our fun little paint night. I hope you had some fun, and maybe you can use this technique to make a whole bunch of other pictures, and I'd love to see those too. All right, my friends, thank you. See you next time.